told about South Africa, and I think one of the best movies that everybody can watch is actually on YouTube, Occupation 101. It was made by Americans 6 years ago, and it explains situation in Palestine, because most people don't know at all what's going on there. But what Israel made with Palestinian people for last century, it's really terrible. And I sent that link to a lot of Ukrainian people, and everybody replied to me with really great thanks, because situation there is really difficult. And you was talking about depression and how to talk with depressed people. I think one of the best questions that we can ask them is very simple, and everybody can remember this. What do you want? One of the best experience that I have in my life is when my coach asked me, "What do you want for 15 minutes?" It blew my mind.
But some people don't know what they want.
Right.
And when you continue to ask, "What do you want? What do I don't want to be sick. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" And you help them to shift their focus.
Right. And we're going to get into that. That's reality therapy, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But that would be one of the basic concepts in reality therapy. What is it that you want in life? But more important than that is, where do you want to go? What is it that you want? And what are you doing to get the thing you want in life? And that's where people make mistakes. They know what they want, but they just don't know how to get what they want. Or they're doing the wrong steps in getting what they want. And so, I know people that I ask them, "What do you want in life?" "Well, I want to learn English." "Well, what are you doing to learn English?" "Well, not much." I said, I sent you an invitation to go to my discussion group. Have you ever gone? "No, I didn't." Okay. So, one thing is to know what you want. The next step is to take steps to get what you want. And the whole basis of reality therapy is that a lot of times people are going in the wrong direction. They know what they want, but they're not doing constructive steps to get what they want. And so then we have to ask them, are what you're doing getting you closer to your goals, or is what you're doing taking you away from your goals? And so then we take it to that next step. But yes, what do you want is a fundamental question. Because if we know what we want, at least there's hope. When people don't know what they want, that is a big problem.
But what if people want bad things, to be the most rich? It's not so bad, but to have money nowhere, and no matter how.
Well, financial goals are okay. I know a lot of people, and they've said, "I want to be a millionaire," okay? And it's hard for me to help them in that regard, because I'm not very good with money myself. But to answer your question, I asked, one kid a few years ago, "What do you want?" And his response is, "I want to get high every night. I want to use drugs every night. And can you help me? You're my therapist. You should help me get my needs met. You just told me that the purpose of therapy is for you to help me get what I want. I want to get high every night. I want to get stoned every night. What can you do to help me?" Okay? Now, I would say that is what we call a negative addiction. Okay? It's okay to have positive addictions, but a negative addiction is not okay. And the other response is that there are true needs and there are false needs. I think this addiction need, his desire to smoke pot every night, marijuana every night, I think it's a false need. Okay, it's a false need, and we need to figure out what his real need is. Or why does he feel a need to smoke marijuana? What is it? Why is that so important for you? And that's really the way we have to approach somebody like that. If their goal is to get stoned every night, we don't tell them, "Well, that's not a goal. That's a ridiculous goal. That's a stupid goal." We don't say that. We say, "Okay, why is it that you want that? That's interesting. Why is it that you want to smoke marijuana? When did that become the most important thing for you, and why?" And if we talk enough to that person, we're probably going to find that they're hurt inside, and that they're going to use this drug as a way of dealing with pain. That it's not the marijuana that they want, it's getting rid of the pain that they want. And that's why they smoke it. But we can't go there right away. We have to let the person take us to that painful situation. Okay?
matured personality.
She's a what?
Mature.
Mature?
Mature.
Mature.
All right, a mature personality.
Personality. Do you use this term in your practice, and what does it mean?
Well,
Is it a psychologist
you know,
term?
we generally don't use, I use mature as a way to describe an adult. That a mature person is not a child. That a mature person, when bad things happen, they don't cry. You know, they don't say, why me? You know, poor me. You know, a mature person accepts reality. Okay? They understand that there is a real world out there, and they have to deal with it. Children think magically. Okay? They think, well, I want it to snow. And if it starts snowing, they think that my thoughts caused it to snow. Okay? A mature person understands that there is this world out there, and it's going to act independently from our thoughts. But a mature person's a grown-up. They handle their emotions. They have good emotional regulation. They are fairly high in emotional intelligence. They can deal with crises and problems without falling apart. That they have a balanced personality. They're not extreme in their thinking. They've got good cognitive skills. In fact, I would say that a mature person has really trained their brain well. They use their brain in a very good way. They're able to think through things. They're able to look at alternatives. When they're faced with a problem, they can see the pros and cons. They can see the consequences of their behaviors. Those would all be mature things. Those are all good problem-solving skills. And that's probably what they meant when they said this Kate is a mature person. That she's probably ready to marry, and she probably has some very good social skills that will allow her, possibly to be the next Queen of England, right? Or could be. I'm not real familiar with the way that works over there, but you know, he's likely to be the king, and she would naturally be the queen, right? And so it's, you know, it takes a relatively mature person to be put in that situation because everybody's watching. Okay?
So
But, yeah.
normally they are more happy, they're happier than others.
Mature people?
Yes.
I think mature
Less
people.
depressed.
I think mature people are probably more satisfied. Happiness is something that may happen to us a few times in a day or a few times in a week. But being satisfied is something that we should generally carry around with us. It's our baseline mood, and I think I talk about that here, that our baseline is our normal level of functioning. It's our normal mood, okay? And I would think that a mature person is probably always at their baseline or above it. When we fall below our baseline, we get down or depressed about something or angry about something, a mature person can bring themselves back up to their baseline relatively quickly. They don't wallow in self-pity. They're not in this bad mood for a tremendous amount of time, okay?
Do you mean that mature people can kind of, to a certain extent, can control their mood? And when they are kind of down, they can improve their mood? So they can control their mood, like they have like, you know, like...
Well, yeah, mood is like the temperature outside. Our mood's going to go up and down during the course of the day, but it shouldn't go up and down dramatically. Our mood should be relatively stable, and we should be at our baseline or above most of the time, because we function best when we're in a good mood. We're more creative, we're more productive, we give better advice when we're in a better mood. And so our goal in life is to try to maintain a positive mood. It's not necessarily always to be happy, but just to be satisfied with what is going on around us. Okay? And if we become dissatisfied, then to make some changes. Okay? Obviously, our problems are maintained by doing more of the same. Okay? So when we're in a crisis, when we have a problem, we're going to try to do something different. Okay? So we're going to be focused on solutions, not problems. and I think you mentioned it before, that when somebody says, well, my goal is not to be depressed, all right, if the goal is not to be depressed, I don't want to be depressed, I don't want to be depressed, I don't want to be depressed, we will become depressed. So we want to help that person change their goal to, I want to be happier, I want to be more satisfied, and then we're more likely to reach them, okay? So we're going to state our goals in positive terms, not negative terms, okay? And help a person with that, okay? We talked about reasons for human problems, adjustment disorders to crises in life, ego disturbances from the family of origin. In other words, did our parents allow us to be the person we were meant to be, or did our parents treat us as part of, not treat us as an individual, okay? And obviously, probably the greatest gift that any of us could have would be to relatively stable and happy parents. It doesn't happen all that often, but if we're lucky, we get two parents that are on the same page, and they allow us to be the person that we're supposed to be, and that we need to be. And of course, there are biological problems to people's issues, and a biological problem could be a brain disorder, it could be chemical imbalances in the brain, it could be a personality defect, or a combination of the above. And of course, with some depressed people, it's almost impossible to work with them unless we give them some medication. And sometimes that's absolutely critical in dealing with people with illnesses, is to stabilize them with some form of medication. And there's all kinds of different medications that people can take. And a lot of them are quite effective, but some of them do have side effects. I don't believe that medication should be the only thing that we use, though, to treat depression. Medication should be combined with talk therapy. And remember that medication is probably going to take those lows away, but they also might take some of the highs away as well. But it does serve as a stabilizing influence for some people, and sometimes we need that medication to be able to carry on talk therapy with that person.
What does it mean, personal defect?
A personal defect? A personal defect would be something wrong maybe with the brain, the way the brain works. Not everybody's born with a healthy brain. And not everybody's born with a healthy personality. Some of us have an antisocial tendency, and I hope to be able to get into these personality defects, because that's really would be typically the people that I work with. My friends do not typically have these personality defects, but a lot of the people that I work with in therapy do. Okay? Okay, so adjustment problems, bad things happen, crises happen, and what we want to do is let a person know that these things maybe happen to everybody, that you're not being singled out here. A lot of people ask, why me? Why me? And we might have to point out that you're not the only person that this is happening to, okay? Or why not you, okay? We talked about family of origin, in that every culture indoctrinates their youth, their children, and boys should not cry. I mean, who came up with that idea? Right? In our culture, it's not masculine. It's not a good thing for a man to be seen crying. What's wrong with that? Why can't men cry? Why can't boys cry? Well, as soon as we begin to push that on our children, they start holding back these feelings and emotions, and they can't be themselves. Okay? Or you are a Ukrainian, you must like borscht. Okay? Or salo. Okay? Borscht is okay. I'm not going to go with the salo thing. But what we're told, we're given these messages that this is the way we have to be. This is the way we must act. And I think that can pollute somebody. It can get somebody going in the wrong direction. Okay?